This third time is a charm. Welcome back to Conversations with Cornelius. I'm your host, Cornelius. Still studying, these pillars of transformation. And I have yours truly on the other side of the camera who's ready to talk to us. I'm going to play an introductory video, then I'm going to raise a question when we come back. Welcome again to Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius, and we will be transformed. Welcome to Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius. Today, you will be engaged, entertained, and educated. Stay tuned. You are about to be CC'd. It is Conversations with Cornelius. If we were in church, I would say after the next election from the choir, yours truly will be speaking. So let's bring yours truly on the camera. It's the Reverendness. Can I say Reverendness without getting in trouble with your church?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just joking. So I don't want her to get in trouble with anybody in the denomination. Welcome, Reverendness. How are you doing?
I'm good today. How are you?
Well rested, since that's what we will be focusing on the conversation, rest and what rest looks like. Have you been resting? And how do you rest?
I think we're talking about this because I'm not a good example. I
You're not a
don't
good
rest the
example?
way I should. I know to do better, but I don't do better.
You know to do better, but you don't do better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How does that affect transformation then?
I feel like talking about transformation, we talked about last week, like shift in perspective, right? If you're not rested, it's hard for you to really hone into the signs around you that are telling you that it's time to change. Or if you are in a season where you're praying for direction, it's hard to like really hear when you're just so busy doing what you're doing and you don't have time to just step away and just be.
Step away and being, okay.
Mm.
And Jesus often practiced step away and being. So
He did.
Okay.
Every day.
Do you have, well, since you and I neither have scheduled rest or made rest a priority, at what point will you make rest priority? And then do we even know what that will look like?
I feel like there's a difference between, like, some people think rest is having your 8 hours of sleep.
And true. Why wouldn't it be?
Right. But then I think there's also a different kind of rest that's more mental, just as I said earlier, just that stepping back. Because why do people do sabbaticals?
For renewal.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the kind of rest that I'm talking about. Like on a day-to-day, yes, you do need your 6 to 8 hours of sleep, which I'm very guilty of not achieving.
Do we need that much though?
That's a whole nother topic. Many people say that you don't. Many people can run on few hours of sleep. I'm one of them. But the rest that I'm talking about is rest of just not doing so much that you don't have time to actually process what it is that you're doing. Kind of have a self-awareness of where you are, where you want to go, because you're just so busy doing the thing that you're consistently doing. And a lot of times it could be something that's good, right? It could be ministry in church, it could be parenting, it could be being a spouse, all those different things. But at some point in time, you need to, like you said, Jesus said, step away. And how many of us really have that time or prioritize that time?
And what are some of the hindrances you think that keep us from making that a priority, or what has been some in your life?
Being there for my children, not seeing their burden at all, right? That's what kids are here for, and that just comes with being a parent. Wanting to do well in my job, being motivated. So like for me, working is not a thing of just going in and doing your typical 9 to 5. It's like I'm very passionate about what I do. So many times that can call me or cause me to go above and beyond. If you're a ministry, I did ministry in church for years. That can take a lot of time too. So imagine you're working 9 to 5, then you're also running a ministry. That's like another job. Um, for some people, it can be, sports, clubs that they're a part of. It's different for different people, but I'm just saying that sometimes we can just be so involved that we don't even have a time to just check in with yourself.
Check in, weekly check-ins.
Or daily check-ins even. It's necessary, I would say.
I'm learning.
Do you sit down and reflect on your day?
Often.
See? How many people really do that? I don't.
But I've been taught that, though. This was something I had to learn. Like, not so much. Yeah, I had to learn it too. Rejoice, reflect, redirect. I told you that, like, that's a principle from John Maxwell that I've learned. It's like, you better take 24 hours to rejoice. I don't care, good, bad, or indifferent. Then you need to take 24 hours to reflect and asking the right questions. And then you can take 24 hours to redirect. So you have 72 hours of productive thought time and reflective time, and you can rest in the work. Okay, I rejoiced that Nicole and the group said, rejoice, Nicole, Kigo, Dion, the board said no. It hurt, but I'm rejoicing in it. So that my emotional intelligence actually increases instead of decreases. And I'm redirecting. Okay, next time I can say, what do I need to say? How do I need to approach the situation emotionally? Then, I'm ready after reflection, and then that redirection. When I step into the next meeting, it's not the no that I'm expecting. It's the emotion I want to experience. I want to experience health and hope. I heard him say earlier this morning, somebody's hungry for hope. When you have a vision, somebody's hungry for it. It might not be the masses, and they might not can see it at the time. But I'm hungry. That somebody's hungry for the next experience. But as leader, if I'm not well rested, going into some of those tumultuous situations that can be tumultuous, it's not advantageous. It's not. So I'm learning to be more conscientious of rest and resting throughout the day, that every day, every minute does not have to have something tied to it. Okay, I made 12 good decisions today, or I made 12 poor decisions. I'm not making another decision today. I'm not going to wake up in the morning, let me pick with you, and determine what I'm going to wear. I'm not going to do that. That's a stressor. I'm looking for this. I can't find that. That's a stressor. Yeah. That's a major stressor. And people don't think, like, if you don't know how much time, mental time you would save and the reserve that you would have if you would just do some simple things at night to prepare you for the day. Well, I'm not going to lay my clothes. No, I promise you, get your clothes ready for the week.
Are you a food prepper?
No, because I don't know. And I'm in a new space with my diet. So, And I don't like eating leftovers all the time. I got a cough. Excuse me.
But people say that reduces stress.
Okay. But I'm going to eat an apple and some fruit and some smoothies. So I'm good. That is not a stressor for me, just deciding what I'm going to eat.
So then would you say that people need to identify what the stressors are for them?
Of course. Do you know your stressors?
Are you asking me, do I?
I mean, you know them. You do. You identify them well.
Yes. Because you think about the things that slow you down. So, yes. In the morning, trying to figure out what to wear. I mean, it's a stressor. In the evening, trying to figure out what to eat.
Can be very stressful.
That can be stressful, especially if you're coming home late, as I often do. And you're like, oh, now I got to, fix food. Luckily, I have someone in the house that loves to cook. So that helps out a lot.
And so that lovely person.
Imani Bailey. She actually food prep this week.
Oh, for real? For the entire week?
The week.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's big into that, huh?
She is. And she does the groceries too. So that, and she actually does it to reduce my stress.
Oh,
I know, she's awesome.
and when she goes to college and you don't have that, but you have what she's left behind, then what?
I'll be fine.
You will be fine.
I'll be fine.
When she has what you left, when you have what she left behind.
What do you mean? Like the food? What do you mean what she's like? No, stop. I'm not going to have that. That is not going to be a stressor. No.
You sure?
I'm positive.
You're positive?
That's not staying behind.
You sure?
That would be a stressor.
That would be a stressor.
Mm-mm.
Think so?
I know so. But I think being able to identify those stresses are important. But then I think another thing that you kind of mentioned is knowing sometimes we are operating on consistent stress. And I feel like there's a terminology for that that's not coming to my mind right now. So it becomes our norm. We don't even realize that we're in chronic stress mode and that we need stress and that we need rest and renewal.
Excuse me. Did you say chronic stress mode?
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like running on adrenaline 24/7. I'll give you an example.
Pause before you give us an example, because we want to play our commercials and we'll be right back. So you're going to talk about chronic stress mode and your example of chronic stress mode.
Yes.
Okay, y'all, we'll be right back.
This show was brought to you by Walker's Cafe and Grill, 109 UN Drive from 12 to 5. This show is brought to you by the Ephesian Primitive Baptist Church, 1506 22nd Avenue, North Nashville, Tennessee. This show is brought to you by Forever Zion. That's www.foreverzion.com. Paparazzi Jewelry for your boo, your bae, your significant, your subordinate, your cousin, and them. Your friend, your enemy, your frenemy. Go to www.foreverzion.com. This show is brought to you by Trifold Outreach Ministries. That's Trifold Outreach Ministries, 49 Dry Creek Road, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Thank you for our wonderful sponsors.
And we are back. That's Miss Nicole C. Bailey sitting over there on the couch. We're glad to have her in Conversations with Cornelius. Again, I am your host, Cornelius, with the lovely Nicole, and she wants to talk about chronic stress.
We'll say chronic. More so just talking about how you're just so used to what you're doing that you don't even realize where you are. So the very brief example I was going to give was working a job where I was consistently on. And it was like 24/7 working day to day, working in the evening. And it wasn't until I had to step away from that assignment, move to a different department, I just felt this sense of calm, like the first 2 weeks. And I realized what I was under prior because of where I was at that present time. I was like, you were consistently just going. Like your body, like I felt like I was doing a deep exhale in this new position. And I didn't even realize that it was something that I needed. You see what I'm saying? Had I not stepped away, I wouldn't have realized where I was physically and mentally. Like I knew I was always busy, but I didn't realize how deep it was. So I say all that to say, what are some of the signs of needing rest? Like what are those warning signs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Irritability, short. You know that you're becoming something that you haven't become. The lack of whatever. I would say constant, I don't give a care isms. And because we're Christian and saved and sanctified, I won't use the language that I, possibly could use to give it more punch, but I won't do that, using wisdom. When you get to that place where you're like, I don't care. I don't care. It's just, you disconnect. Okay, you good? You start disconnecting, or your relational equity changes severely.
Pretty deep. Can you expand on that?
Oh, relational equity?
And the disconnect?
Yeah. It's like you at one point, there was a season where you walked graciously and you were grateful for that walk. Now you walk regretfully.
Mm.
The gracious walk now has become a regretful walk. And now we're trying to balance that emotional melee, mayhem, whatever you want to call it. And you're recognizing that. And as you recognize that, you say, I'm in a different space. And it might not be the best space to be in, but I need to recognize the space and know how long I'm going to be here and make some adjustments, because you can find yourself just drifting. The scripture says you started drifting and you look up and one day you realize this ain't where I want to be. And this is not what I want to have. It's no longer healthy. It becomes very toxic. And you're like, what happened? What happened? And you're looking like, that's what happened. That's what this was. So now you have a series of events that have really shaken the foundation of what you thought was solid. And you, because of the constant go, and you were managing it, but you weren't leading well. So I hope I made sense.
No, it makes sense.
Does it?
So when we think about some of the different things that may cause us to be stressed, and you and I were talking earlier about, from a spiritual perspective, alignment. Would you like to talk about that?
Alignment, discernment, or just alignment by itself?
Yeah.
A car, when it needs alignment, it drives totally different. And you can look at your tires and they'll tell you, because of it's not in alignment, there's wear and tear on one tire as opposed to that other tire because of the alignment. There's an unevenness of tread and traction. But sometimes you can feel it, sometimes you can't. But when you check, you can actually see it and have it checked by somebody who knows what they're looking for and looking at in that moment. When you talk about, to me, alignment and discernment and those things, and we're coupling the two, I think spiritual mentors, not spiritual, I think mentors and coaches are very vital. It's interesting. The best version of you was the version of you that was coached as a child. People, no, the best version of you, the victorious you, was a person that was coached. We can become adults and we don't want that. We don't want that level of accountability. We don't want that level of association or connectivity. We think we can just manage it on our own, and that's when we get burnt out and don't know how to rest. But when you have a coach, when you have some accountability, that's healthy. It helps balance it and bring things back into alignment. Okay, Nicole, I see here, and here. You're short. You're talking at rather than with. You're making a lot of solo decisions, which is, maybe that's okay. But where you were once inclusive of a team, you are walking at a much different pace than you used to walk. Your interaction is sketchy. It's not. Your communication it lacks a lot of clarity when it once used not to be. It was once clear, but you need that. But people become so defensive, and when you start bringing up things like that, like, I don't want that, I don't need that. But then you look at sports, the athletes that we worship, what do they have? Coaches. Like, why wouldn't you want a mentor and a coach to help you with that as an adult? Then you look at the spiritual. Moses had a Joshua, Paul and Silas had a Timothy and a Titus. So Jesus had disciples who followed him, and he said, greater works will you do, because they were coached. They were ready to step into that role. They had capacity, they had character, they had confidence, they had everything that they need. They were equipped to walk into that. Then he gives them that favorite scripture, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you what? Rest.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, I'm grown and I got my own. You're grown, but you still need wisdom. You still need you need to see what wisdom looks like. And the Bible says, and we are scriptural and spiritual, wisdom is the principal thing, and in all thy getting, get understanding. So I'm learning now more so than ever. Find a coach, find a therapist, find a counselor, find a financial advisor to help you and I navigate. Because if not, no man is an island to himself, or one man is an island to himself. Other than you, you got it. You got it all made. You got it made. But like, I think if our generation could absorb, the culture could absorb one thing from the past, we need Big Mama back.
Mm-hmm.
We need Muddy back. We need
We
Grandbaby
do.
back. We need my Mary back. We need somebody who can help settle us. We need to look at somebody who has fought stress all of their life and it had to go without, but they made sure we had emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
I know I talked a long time. I do apologize. I should have. Why? You should.
It's fine. I'm listening.
Okay. All right. Now, may I ask a question?
You may.
How do you know when you are pursuing God's assignment versus someone else's expectation?
Yes.
How do you know? Because the Bible is full of people that chased the expectations of others and it was dire. The consequences. Acts chapter 12, we talked about it earlier. Herod was literally eaten up by worms and died. He died in his seat of position because of the expectation of people, and he became to himself of God and wanted the applause of God. He wanted a place of God. Satan was literally evicted because of, the expectation, unrealistic or realistic expectation. Didn't know how to handle or manage that. So you tell me, how do you know when you are pursuing God's assignment versus someone else's expectation?
Okay. Before I answer that,
Before you
if I
answer.
may, for people listening, wanting to see how this is relating to rest, the conversation that we had was you can end up being exhausted when you're not doing that thing that you're supposed to be doing, when
Okay.
you're not in alignment. I feel like obviously we always don't know what it is that we're supposed to be doing, which is why we have to stay in constant prayer.
Mhm.
I feel like, first of all, physically, I feel like when you're not doing that thing that you're supposed to be doing. There's just like this level of, like, for me, it'll be just like a level of anxiety when I'm consistently being asked to do something that doesn't align with what it is. I might even say with what I want to do. So that may not be like with what God wants you to do, but it just doesn't align with what I feel I should be doing. And different people do this and do that. It just doesn't feel right. Now, if you've already been in prayer, just having that connection with God and asking him to lead you and guide you, and you've been working towards something, you're going to know, because those things that people are asking you are just going to be in conflict of the direction that you're supposed to be going. And I just don't feel a sense of peace. I almost moved to Nashville years ago. And
Welcome.
Thank you. And I did not, and it was the right thing for that happened, but it was a great opportunity. Like, a job was literally handed to me
In this season or that season?
in that season. This
Okay.
is 2011.
Okay.
But I knew what it was that I felt I was called to do. And I felt like if I do this particular job, I'm just doing it to be doing it. And I mean, it doesn't sound like something deep and profound, but I just really did not have a sense of peace. And there were people in my ear saying, you should do this because, and all the reasons that were given were not reasons that I felt would line up with, this is something that you're good at. This is something that that we've seen your talents directing you to your entire
Mhm.
life. And God does give us, talents, gifts, right? And we can see while we're growing up, where those things are. This particular job would have had nothing to do with that. It would have literally just have been a job. And I felt like I was under obligation versus
Purposeless.
a call.
Purposeless.
Maybe that's a good way, right? Under obligation versus call. Purpose. Yes.
Less.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what made you, and it's interesting because at 12 noon, we talked about the shut door, the ministry of the shut door. When God shuts a door,
he shut it.
He shuts a door, and sometimes we put our foot in it, even though He's shutting it. And shutting a door is not God saying no. Maybe no to that opportunity, but not no to the assignment and the purpose.
And I feel like it's good that you said that, because I could have kept pushing that opportunity. There were signs that I saw and questions that I was asking where I was like, things just aren't really lining up. But I could have, have tried to save face, because I told everybody I was leaving and said, I'm just going to, do what I'm going to do because I said I'm out of here. But that just discernment, it's like, no, I'm telling you, this is not what it is that you're supposed to be doing, even though it just seemed like initially everything was lining up.
That's good.
But I just had to realize, like, if it's even this past year, there was an opportunity where I thought I could maybe move on to do something else. And
move, Nicole. Get away. Go somewhere else.
Stop. But I prayed about it. I said, when you call me to do things, my experience has always been that there are many signs that let me know that God's leading me in that direction. So number one, I didn't have peace. And number two, things just weren't lining up the way I was used to them lining up when I knew God was leading me to do things. And I often have done things taking a risk, not knowing what the outcome is going to be, but He just drops these little nuggets to let me know you're moving in the right direction.
I love that. I love that. So that ministry of the shut door. Remember Paul. Paul wants to go to Asia, but he ends up in Philippi, Thessalonica, the Areopagus, or the Berea, then the Areopagus. He wanted to go where we would think. Go ahead. The Asian minor churches were. There's already strength there. There's already relational equity in those places. There's good ministry waiting for you there. The mega churches are there. But you have to go to Thessalonica, Berea. But those were the places where he needed. Had you not gone to Thessalonica, the second coming of Christ could really be even more sketchy. But you got to get something?
Go to strike. Keep going.
You had to, you have scripture for that. In Thessalonica, I would not have you ignorant, brethren, concerning those which are asleep. Some of the hallmark scriptures of the church come out of Thessalonica. So I'm grateful, Paul, that door was shut so that revelation and understanding could be opened up later down the road. So I'm grateful for that.
I've seen through experiences of people that I know where it's kind of like a shut door, but also a sense of frustration.
Okay.
Where you're in a situation, like I've had this conversation with friends where I would say, you know what, I think maybe it's time for you to move on. And they're just very comfortable where they are.
Okay.
And it's not until certain situations happen where they're made to be very uncomfortable that God's now able to move them. And it's been for good reasons, right? But if the environment had not shifted, and I don't know if that would be like, we were talking about shift in perspective, but if the environment had not shifted, they would not take that next step. So you're very articulate with your thoughts. You are.
No, I'm not.
So
Don't
I'm thinking like,
not.
So you used the shut door as a description. What would you call that? Because it's not a shut door in that situation, but something is being shut down.
Okay. Say that.
You want to see that?
Yeah. Okay. That if it's not a shut door, it's a shut down.
Oh. See?
I'm just say that
works.
If it's not a shut door, potentially and possibly it's a shut down. living here, 2 weeks out of the year, Nissan goes on a shutdown for 2 weeks. They used to go on a shutdown. Nissan is shutting down, the plant is shutting down. Everybody knows, at least for 2 weeks, we don't shut down. Athletically, we had called it a dead period. It's not that we could not work, but we needed that time not to do or focus in on that work with those people. It's interesting. I never thought of that until today. 35 years removed from athletics, literally high school sports. That dead period was necessary. It's needed to let your body rest and recover to get ready for the next season.
Yes.
Literally. Like, that's how to get you ready for the next season. At some point, I'm going to have to honor that. You know, being the girl that you are, woman of virtue, we thank God for that. You know, we always throw stones at those sins that are so, the vulgarity of those sins, the sexual sins. But not honoring the Sabbath is just as sinful. But I will give you a pass on not honoring the Sabbath. But I'm not going to give you a pass on drunkenness, lewdness, concupiscence, lasciviousness, the words you say. I've been saying it for a long time. That's how I know how to say them. But you won't, where's your Sabbath? I think it was Pastor Glenda Gleaves Sutton. I think she takes off. If I'm wrong, I do apologize. The whole month of August. They don't even go to church. I said, huh? We ain't going to church. Ain't going to church. Have you lost your rabbit? God called us to rest. Rest from what?
Okay, well, this will open a whole can of worms, but
are we going?
I don't want to open.
I don't want to open them like can. No cans.
But it's true.
I don't need cans right now. Do we need cans?
You opened it.
Do we need? We had 32 minutes. We had 32 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe we can cut it off.
We can.
Okay. We're not opening them no can of nothing tonight.
But rest is needed.
It is
in
needed.
all areas. Yeah. Can we at least say that?
Oh my God.
Parents need rest. Ministry leaders need rest.
The ground. God said, let it rest. And again, rest is always through the Bible. And I've chosen not to do that because I'm not really seeing it either. I'm seeing it now more so than ever. Do you remember your father? Shout out to Pastor Larry Bailey of, I don't know the name of his church.
He's at Philadelphia in Pulaski and Harvest in Harvest.
Okay. Our fathers are preachers. We are PKs. Do you remember your father having a respite?
Not really.
Oh.
I know like we would take family vacation, but I never heard honestly of a pastor taking sabbaticals until I moved to California.
Right. See, that's different. And I see the fruitfulness from the sabbaticals from that culture. Like y'all took a sabbatical all summer. Y'all came back and y'all got 3 years of preaching plan. How? 3 years of strategy.
Okay.
But now I see it. I see the joy in it, and I see the necessity of having that. So it is what it is. So are we landing our plane?
I think we
will. Let's land our plane because we were talking about rest, and I need to find that banner, the 7 pillars. Do you remember the 7 pillars?
Nope. I know we started with a shift in perspective.
And then navigating doubt. And then purpose and acceptance. Then perseverance through rejection. Standing on truth. Then rest and renewal. And then finally deep growth and refinement.
Did we say why we started with rest and renewal instead of shift in perspective?
Okay, because this is where we are. We both don't know how to rest. That's all. That's why we went that route. And so these 7 are not in this order sequentially.
Mhm.
Just pick which one you need to start at and start moving in that direction.
That's true, because everybody's at a different stage.
Yeah. So you and I said we've chosen rest and renewal. And then, and of course, we kind of talked about it in another different podcast, talking about changing perspective. And I think that's where we ended. Because, well, purpose and acceptance. People need your voice. They have what you need. We made mention of it, but we haven't
Dug into it. We tried to start with this one because we thought it was important for some people, depending on where they are. You need that rest. And you spoke to it, how the pastors would come back with 3 years worth of sermons. You need that time for some people, you need to step away in order to be able to start all these other phases.
And you can do it. I mean, you can do it. I'm grateful. I mean, part of this, you and I, is part of the renewal piece for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is work that I can rest in. I'm getting, it's output, but it's also input. Mm-hmm. It's just not output. It's not transactional.
Right.
Sometimes being in the pulpiteering space is transactional. This becomes transformational because I have to listen to you and listen to me, listen to God, to you, me, you, God, whatever. I'm listening, as opposed sometimes in the pulpiteering space, I'm listening, but I'm constantly feeding. It's a different feed in that space than it is this space. They both feed. It's just a different feed. And I had to learn that in wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay. Okay, Lord, I hear you now. I see you. So I can't wait till next year. I can't wait. It's like, oh my God. I can't wait till the sabbatical. It's like, wow, I get a sabbatical. And I think the Lilly Foundation, and they do, and they sponsor it. So I'm trying to get connected. So, the church doesn't even have to worry about anything, including a salary.
Wow.
Right. Like, they got me. Boom, we got you. We want you to go. We want you to do. We want you to be renewed, rejuvenated, and come back refreshed and restored and renewed. But I can't do that without rest.
So you're saying you want to rest before your sabbatical, or both?
No, you rest in that as well. Yeah, but I can't do that without it. That's something I can't do.
Right.
I can't be renewed and restored, rejuvenated without the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of God, the peace of God that passes all understanding, will guide your mind and your heart. We quote that scripture again, Philippians. Again, Paul was told that, or given that revelation, because a shut door happened, and then we get that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. And we have 38 minutes, and you're not going to hold me hostage.
I'm done.
Are you?
I already landed my plane, right?
You've landed your plane. Well, listen, y'all, rest and renewal, the 7 stages of transformation, the knowing with Nicole. Yes. The knowing with Nicole. Chantel Bailey. What is rest looking like for you?
Right now, just trying to go to bed earlier than I normally do. I'm trying. And not always sleeping, now just walking more. There's a rest in that.
And guess what?
What?
I've gotten my 8,728 steps in today, plus 3,000. So I've gotten my 10,000. So that's resting. That's disciplining my body to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear from God in those moments. Walking, yes. I hear from God in the walk.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful. But anyway, 7 stages of transformation. We know those 7 stages. We thank you for tonight. Today, tomorrow, when you hear this, when you see this, we're grateful. Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Are you sure? We're good? We're landing our plane?
Plane is landed.
You sure?
I'm positive.
You have your bags? Have you unbuckled your seatbelt? Are you ready to get off?
I'm ready to get off.
Are you ready to get off?
I'm ready to get off.
Are you catching another flight and going somewhere else? Are you done?
I'm not. I'm done.
Hey, y'all, we thank you for tuning in to Conversation with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius, and the Knowing with Nicole. We will see you on another podcast. Peace and blessings. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Cornelius. Please follow me on my social media platforms: Facebook, Cornelius A. Hill; Instagram, Arne Hill; Twitter, Hill Cornelius; and YouTube, Cornelius Hill. Now do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. It's Conversations with Cornelius. You've just been CC'd.